You know, James Hoffmann might have helped to turn this, the Turin DF64, into the best espresso grinder in this price range. So let's talk about what he got right, what he got wrong, and what they fixed in this review of the Turin DF64. Massive thanks to Joel Kolb at espressooutlet.net for sending this all the way to Japan for this review. If you want to check out a DF64 at the best price, I've seen it available online. Check it out at espressooutlet.net. Okay, on with the video. Of course, I want to start with the taste of the espresso coming out of a DF64. Taste is super subjective, but the shots I've been getting out of this thing have had a whole new level of depth and clarity for me. I'm not going to waste your time describing the taste of an espresso that you can't verify for yourself, so all I'll say is this. I'm going to respond to some of Hoffmann's critiques of the DF64 in his review, but bear in mind he was using an earlier version of this machine. So rather than a critique of Hoffmann, which I am not qualified to give, think of this as just setting the record straight on the DF64's current version. So how does it feel to use? Well, for me, it's super satisfying. It's reassuringly heavy, the dial at the top is big and round, and the bellows at the top that you use to blow the grinds out is actually really fun to use. Don't you dial on me now! I'll talk more about some issues with this system later, but overall I have no complaints about the quality of the grinds and how easy it is to dial in and use. Espresso comes out in a huge range, so it's super easy to dial in exactly where you need it to be. And unlike in the good Sir Hoffmann's video, I never got anywhere near the 0 point, even with the lightest of roasts. The lowest I ever used on the dial setting was around a 10 or an 11, which was for a lightly roasted decaf. I also really like the dosing cup, which I greatly prefer to dosing directly into the portafilter. The cup doesn't ever seem to slide out, but this might be another one of those post-Hoffmann review changes, as these rubber feet seem to have been added to keep the cup in place. This grinder does get a little bit more powder on the base and the table because of the bellows blowing that coffee everywhere, but I'm pretty much used to cleaning coffee up off the table anyway. If you don't want coffee going on your table, I suggest you buy a hand grinder. Those things are pretty clean. Next, I want to talk about the look and design. And personally, I really like the R2-D2 vibe I'm getting off this thing. The niche is a little bit more like BB-8, but I always preferred R2-D2's charm. Maybe we can get a vote going in the comments on which look we prefer. One of the biggest memes that came out of the Hoffmann review was not liking the font. Well, they changed it and it looks a lot nicer around the ring. This still leaves an issue for me that maybe didn't bother Hoffmann as much, but it is a little bit difficult sometimes to tell exactly what level you're grinding to. The steps on the ring are far enough away from a reference point that it can be a little bit difficult to see exactly where you are, and I do this kind of aiming down the sight of a rifle thing with one eye to try and get exactly the right line, but I'd rather not have to do that. This wouldn't be a difficult thing to fix as well. They could just put the markings at the bottom of the ring instead of on the top, and it would be closer to the reference point and much easier to see. Next up is the bellows, which is an odd solution to the problem of grind retention, where some of the grinds stay in the burrs and end up in your next coffee. This has always been a bigger issue on flat burr grinders, but I think the solution works well overall. Now there is a silicone stopper in the front which you have to blow the coffee grinds through, and it has been updated since the Hoffmann review to be a little bit bigger, but I still did notice a little bit of regrinding going on. So it does more or less solve the problem of retention, but I wanted to see how many ultra reground fines end up in your final cup and whether or not this would affect flavor. I put it through a Kruve sifter with the smallest and second smallest filters to see how much would be reground, and this is what came up. It came up with about this much in the bottom, which isn't even 0.1 of a gram, so I doubt this would have a big effect on flavor. You can deal with this problem by pushing on the bellows throughout the coffee grinding process. It is definitely a small problem, but it's not going to be keeping me up at night. So to sum up, I personally love my DF64, and I think most other home users will as well. It looks the part, it grinds very, very nice espresso at any level you want, and I enjoy using it every day. If you found this video useful, give it a like, as this really helps to appease the YouTube gods and get this video out to more people. Now I want to know what you think. After they fixed a lot of the issues from the James Hoffmann review, would you consider picking up a Turin DF64, or do you have a different grinder in your eye? Let me know in the comments. And if you're an amateur barista like me, I'm making videos to help you make better espresso at home, so consider subscribing if you want to see more of that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.